Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Sublimation Paper Plus Demo webinar. My name is Carly Parcel, and I'm one of the equipment representatives here with Johnson Plastics Plus, and I'm super excited to talk about this with you today. So a few things that we're going to run through. We're going to do some house cleaning and keeping items. So I want to ensure that you're familiar with GoToWebinar. So there's a couple tools I want to make sure that you're fully aware of. So if you're having issues hearing me, I would definitely recommend either calling in using the call-in number or maybe just restarting GoToWebinar. A lot of times that will resolve the issues. Maybe if you're still having difficulties, feel free to reach out in the questions section and let our team here know. So we will also have a team in the background answering questions live to me, and then also in the background answering as well. So please ask away. I love answering questions. I want to ensure this is going to be as factual and everything that you were looking for from this webinar. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know. You can also, I think that's it, right? That's it in the sidebar. Yeah, I was getting ready to go. I was too excited for this one. So this is going to be our poll questions. So I want to launch a few polls, starting with the first one, and that's, are you currently using sublimation in your business today? Do you have a sublimation printer? So this is going to be super helpful with the webinar because I do have a couple overviews of what sublimation is. And if I need to touch on that a little bit more in detail, I definitely will, based on you guys' results. So looks like about 90% so far do have sublimation and about 85% have voted. So I think we can go ahead and close that one. Awesome. Thank you for the quick responses. And the next one is going to be, what type of sublimation paper are you using today? And maybe you don't even know. So the few that I have up there is going to be the Johnson Plastics Plus one, TexPrint R or TexPrint DT or TexPrint XPHR, the Neenah Jetcoil, specific for hard surface or other. So this is going to be super helpful. Curious as to what you guys are using. So about 42% are other, and about the same for TexPrint. So that's super helpful. Give you just a couple more seconds there. Okay, awesome. I think we can close that one. Perfect, thank you. All right, last but not least, where are you buying your sublimation paper? Is it with Johnson Plastics Plus or another vendor? Want to ensure that you guys were aware that we sell sublimation paper in addition to all of the sublimation blanks that we have on our website and the printers. So also very, very helpful. Okay, looks like about 80% have voted, so I think we're good. Awesome, thanks so much, guys. That is super, super helpful in identifying a few of the key questions regarding today's webinar. So we'll go ahead and skip to that next page there. There we go, awesome. So this is the one I was gonna talk about before. So if you wanna see me larger, or if you want to see the close-up demo larger, or the PowerPoint, you have the ability to move that bar, that gray bar, either up or down. And then George, if they're on a mobile device, what do they need to do for that?
I think if you're on a mobile device such as an iPhone or an Android phone or an iPad, I believe it's a swipe up and down will get you to the secondary cameras.
Awesome, thank you, that's super helpful. All right, so I think that's the majority of the housekeeping items. So let's actually get started on what today's webinar is going to be. So I want to ensure you guys have the proper information in order to select the right paper for your sublimation job that you may be doing. Maybe you didn't realize that some sublimation papers are better for hard surfaces and some are more of just a general all-purpose paper. So we'll go into a deep dive and talk about that a little bit further. Also answering the live questions. I know there's tons of different questions. Why pick this sublimation paper over another? So feel free to ask. We'll be happy to answer those for you. Also a live demo. One of my favorite things to always do is to always complete a demo during a webinar. So you guys can see that full process happen. And we have something special. Thank you, Grace, for organizing that. So we have an awesome giveaway coming up. So George, you want to tell them maybe who or how or why they would maybe win that?
Nope, we've got the folks who are in the webinar today. So if you're attending right now, we're jotting all those names down, and we'll pull a name at random at the end, and that person will get a very nice little prize. We don't want to give it away yet, do we?
No.
No, okay.
We don't want to say what we're giving away
Okay.
just yet. But make sure you're being engaged in the webinar, and maybe that will be a little bit more of a tidbit for you to maybe win.
You're bribing them.
No, I'm not. But we will do that at the very end. So yes, you do have to stay tuned the entire time. Okay. So let's touch a little bit about what is sublimation. So from the results earlier, some of you may not have a sublimation printer today, and that is okay. We do offer those too, in addition to paper and blanks and everything else. So I want to talk about what sublimation actually is. So it's going to be a digital printing process, and it works at a molecular level. Sounds more chemistry than anything, but I promise it's actually super simplistic. So it physically penetrates and embeds into the substrate, making it waterproof, scratch-proof, and vandal-proof, which is a super awesome technology to have the ability to do. Obviously, it sounds super complex, but it is extremely simple to do. And that's why I'm going to do this demo to show how quick and easy it is. So it takes what's a solid dye state, so on a piece of paper, and using heat, pressure, and time, the ink vaporizes and then fully embeds into that product. So super cool. I love the technology, super unique, but yet super simplistic. And a couple items you're going to need in order to complete the sublimation process. You're going to need a computer. So a lot of the technologies will work on both Mac and PCs. Double check if you have questions with that regarding your specific printer. Some may not be Mac compatible. So always a good question to ask. You'll definitely need a sublimation printer, specific sublimation ink, paper, which is what we're going to talk about today, and then a polyester or white and light colored substrate. Those are all the items that you're going to need in order to produce a full quality sublimation product, in addition to a heat press. So either a flat press, or if you're doing mugs, drinkware, cylindrical items, a mug press would be great, or even the convection oven process is also available too. So sublimation is super easy, super fun to add full color personalization to your business. Whether you're just starting out, doing it for 10, 20 years, there's so many different changes that come along, and choosing the right paper can get you some vibrant, amazing outcomes. So let's talk about small format papers. Thanks, George. So the first two I'm going to start with are going to be a general multi-purpose paper. So before I dive deep into that, do we have any questions that maybe have popped up or anything?
Not at the moment, but some are starting to roll in. So I'll let you roll for a minute, then we'll come back with some questions.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. So a couple of these brands, they're going to be different brands. Both are going to be multi-general purpose use. So Johnson Plastics Plus brand is one that we carry. It's going to be good for hard surfaces and soft substrates too. So again, a general purpose. We can definitely help with any questions that may come up regarding, what side do you print on for the paper? So that's always a good question and something that everyone always asks. So I'll actually bring it up over here. So this is what you will get when ordering the JP Plus sublimation paper. It'll come in a pack like this. It's 100 sheets per pack, and we have so many different sizes for the small formats. Yep.
Just letting you know I went full screen.
Oh, thanks. What happened? So when you're going to print on the brighter white side. So that may be a little tricky, and I'm going to see if you can tell here in the light, which is the brighter white side that's up, and that's going to be this one here. You'll see that this is non-print side, and that's a little bit more yellow. So if you ever have any questions as to, hey, which side do I print on? Just ask and let us know. We have a great advanced support team if you call in that can help you walk through any processes or anything that you may run into some issues or something like that. With the JP Plus paper, we also have it in mug paper size. So 3.5 by 9.125, or the little bit larger, which is the 4 by 9.5, and that one would be good for the 15-ounce mugs, where that smaller paper is good for the 11-ounce mug, which is right back here, that I'm going to do. And that's going to really save you some time because you just have to print that out. There's no additional cutting or anything like that. Go ahead, George.
Carly, one of the questions popping in when you help the mug paper there is there a selection in when you're going to print that you can select the mug size paper?
Yes, you absolutely can. That's either going to be in your properties or your print manager, depending on which printer you're using. That is definitely an option there. So that's a great question. Thank you. There's also going to be a setting within the printer to select the type of paper you're using. So if you're using the JP sublimation paper, there's a specific print that you would use for the paper type. So you have one for JP sublimation paper, separate one for the text print, and then another one for the Neenah. And maybe you're using a different paper, you would just have to double check to make sure that's in the print manager. But everything we carry today, that's all going to be available in the Sawgrass print manager. And then if you have any questions regarding what printer you're using, maybe you're using something different other than a Sawgrass or a Ricoh printer, we can definitely help out and get that correct paper type selected for you. So I do want to jump to the website so you can figure out where to sign up. Thank you. And it's going to be that very first one. So I want to make sure you guys know how quick and easy it is to find this paper. And if you want to select different sizes of paper. So everything's going to be included on our website. You would go to sublimation paper. I'm relinquishing control here and it's stressing me out a little bit.
You may have control.
No, you're good. Thanks, George. I really appreciate it. Super helpful. So everything's right there. So for the Johnson Plastics Plus papers, you get 100 sheets per pack, like I had said, and you have all of these options here to choose from. So 8.5 by 11 is $14.73. Super, super affordable for a general multi-purpose paper. You'll also find some downloads here for some comparison charts. So some of the papers I talked about today, it'll give you perspective if it's going to be good for the type of substrate you're working with. All right, so I think that's enough about that one. Let's bounce back to the PowerPoint here. Any questions, Grace, that maybe have came up? Ooh, she's got one.
I do have one.
Yay.
So a couple people are wondering what the significance or why you might go with the larger or smaller paper, if there's a reason.
So a larger or smaller paper, depending on the format size, maybe?
Yeah, so a reason why you might choose like the mug paper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Good question. So a lot of times folks will use the mug paper to cut down on time because it's already cut for that specific size for your mug. It fits perfectly. So no additional cutting, it goes perfectly around there. Whereas if maybe you were printing it out on a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet, you would have to cut that down quite a bit in order to fit it on the mug. So it saves a lot of time. I've also had folks use these for, our car coasters. I had to think of that. So I had 2 on the car coaster and that worked super easily, saving some time and also saving, the larger sublimation paper if you're doing a bigger project. So yeah, that's an awesome question. Thank you very much. All right, bouncing back to the next paper. So the other general multi-purpose paper that I'm going to talk about is the text print. It's very similar in outcomes that you're going to see with the Johnson Plastics Plus sublimation paper. So it was previously called Text Print R. So you'll now see it as Text Print DT, and that's just been a name change. Nothing else has changed with the actual contents of the paper, just a name change. So I do want to make that note there. So I do have this one over here, and then I will pop up, once I talk about all 3 of them, I'll show you the prints that I have out here on the table. This way you guys can physically see the comparisons of the prints. Always helpful to see a visual, at least for me anyway. All right, so the Text Print R will come in this box here for you. This is 100 sheets, I believe, or is it 110? 110. So I knew there was a tricky one out there. So it's 110 sheets for this one.
It's like a bonus.
Yeah, get 10 extra, not too bad. And then for the mug paper, this one is only in that 3.5 by 9 size. You get 500 sheets. So when we pop over to the website here in a bit, you'll definitely notice a difference in cost because you're getting 500 sheets versus 100 sheets. So definitely something to keep in mind. So a great sublimation paper, general all-purpose. Again, it's just a different brand. So if you have something that's working good for you, we recommend sticking with that. But if you have something that may be lacking just a little bit, maybe vibrancy, we can definitely help make great recommendations as to what kind of paper may give you that extra pop. So general great multi-purpose papers. We'll go ahead and switch to the website, and I'll get that text print one pulled up here so you guys can see. A little bit different in price point there, a little less in the choices of sizes available, but still a great option. We always have these in stock here. And I'll go ahead and compare these two because they're both the general all-purpose, and I think that's a good idea. So what's going to be the best way to do? Oh, go ahead, Grace. What you got?
Someone's asking if the text print paper is thicker for the JP Plus paper, if there's a difference.
Yeah, good question. So it may just be a tad bit thicker. And when you're going to select your paper type within the print manager, that's going to designate that. So ensure that you're selecting that correct paper type. So that right amount of ink lays down on the paper is always going to be super important. So the paper acts as a carrier of the sublimation ink. So you always want to make sure that you're selecting the correct paper type in there. And that, I mean, again, it's just going to enhance some of your sublimation products. So always a good quality. Thanks, Grace. All right, what's going to be the best way for me to show these so people can see the differences?
Do you want to use the close-up camera? I think we can go
Yeah.
to there if you'd like.
I think that would be a good idea.
Mind if we close off the website for a moment?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, so.
Thanks, George. I'm all over the place with this one today. You're welcome.
You got a team of people helping you out.
Woo! Okay. JP Plus is going to be in my left hand, and Text Print R is in my right hand, and I'm going to put that sticker back on there just in case. Because there are going to be very, very subtle differences between these two. All right. So I don't even know if you can see them on here, but very, very subtle. These are both going on fabric. So very, very similar. There we go. Oh, over.
There you go.
There we go. Awesome. So there's that. Now I can notice a little bit more of a difference within the hard surface than I can within the fabric. So there's just a little bit more detail. Oops, sorry, I keep forgetting where to go. Up here. There we go. Thanks, George. So I can notice a little bit more detail. So this is the JPP paper over here. I notice a little bit more detail in that darker purple, darker blue. And then the yellow looks to pop a little bit more for me. So I think this is just a nice, good visual. They're both pretty comparable between the two. It's hard to notice the difference there, but great options for multi-purpose paper. And if you're ever out of one and need to switch to another, you'll know that you'll get pretty similar results between the two of those. So now let's talk about hard surface paper, why you would select a specific hard surface paper, because with this one, I really like this option because it can save you on your ink cost in addition to decreasing your production time, so press time. So let me move this over here.
Battling mice. There we go.
Awesome. Thanks, George. So having a specific hard substrate paper is going to be great. This can definitely increase your quality if you're going on, you know, just specifically mugs, Chromolux panels, and you're looking for a more vibrant, richer color. The ink on the paper is more on the surface of the paper rather than these two where it kind of embeds a little bit more. So I feel like it just grabs right onto that substrate and makes it pop. So I can definitely notice a lot of differences here within the hard substrates. There's much more detail and intricate pops of those colors, and I think that is super awesome. So if you have designated hard surfaces that you're wanting to go onto, I would definitely recommend switching to a hard surface paper and then maybe bouncing back to the multi-purpose if you need fabrics, or I mean, if it doesn't make sense for you to bring in two different papers, these are definitely okay and you're going to get great results. But I think it's great to have an additional option for hard surfaces. So I do have a comparison of the Neenah versus the JP Plus one, and I think it's great visual to see. If you want to pop on over, and I'm making everybody work. So I think this is awesome to see. All right, I got where the camera's down, at least I think. So, all right, you see that there? Anybody have a good guess as to which one's which? Does anyone notice the difference? No? All right, so this one is going to be the Neenah paper. over here, you'll see it's got a little bit more of a pop on that red, and the navy's just a little bit deeper in there. And I think that just looks awesome. So half the time in pressing, you'll save about 40% in your ink costs too. So if you have hard surfaces that you can go on to, definitely a great option. So hopefully those visuals there were helpful. I definitely like to physically see a difference within the finished product. It's hard when you're just talking about it, but physically seeing a difference, I think, is always super helpful. So now we're going to switch to the website so you can figure out where that one's at and the different sizes, even though I do have them located in that below. You get 100 sheets a pack for the Nina. Yep, awesome. And you can also purchase in a carton too. If you need that bulk load, it's definitely available. You have that one size of the mug paper, and then you have the larger sizes as well for the small format. Go ahead, Grace.
Do both of the papers that you've shown so far work in both Sawgrass and Epson printers?
Yep, that's a really good question. So yes, these are all going to be compatible with Ricoh, which is the older Sawgrass models, and Sawgrass printers, Epsons, true Epson printers, and converted Epson printers as well. So that's a really good question. And if you ever want to know what kind of printer they're compatible with, you're going to go to the details. Well, and it says small format. So, well, no, it didn't. Sorry about that. I lied. So you're going to go to the sublimation paper comparison chart, and that's going to be able to tell you what kind of printer you can do with these papers. So this is actually super handy. I'm going to pop this up real quick because it's super helpful. So it shows exactly what printer models and paper types that you can use. So today I'm just featuring the top 3, the 2 generals and the 1 hard surface, just to talk about. But a great option in case you have any further questions and you'd like to see and ensure that it's right for your printer. So we'll pop back over here. Man, I'm making everybody work today. Okay, I do want to touch base on the specialty options. So this is something, if you do not have a white or polyester substrate, here is an option for you. And maybe you're not ready to jump into a white toner printer just yet, and you want that option still using your sublimation printer. So we have the Caesar Easy Subli. That's going to be a heat transfer vinyl, and you're actually going to print directly onto that paper. So I'm going to pull this over here because it's very, very unique. A lot of folks are already doing vinyl today, so this is very similar to that, but you do need this specific paper in order to work with your sublimation printer. You cannot use just any vinyl. It has to be the Caesar Easy Subli. And this is compatible with Sawgrass printers. So here's what that's going to look like. Just looks like your regular vinyl. So what you're going to do is you're going to print onto this, and you can either use a hobby vinyl cutter, a regular vinyl cutter, or you can use scissors, and you're going to cut it out, and then you're going to heat press it onto your item. This is going to be great for garments. So this is going to give you a wash life, and it's going to be great for garments. So maybe cotton, starks, anything like that, super helpful. And then there is one more that I want to talk about for the specialty, and that's going to be the Subla decal. So Subla decal is super unique. I hear it's huge right now on social media, but it's been around for quite a long time. So Subla decal is very similar, but you're going to use regular sublimation paper and then heat transfer onto this. So a little different between this and the vinyl, but still a great option. And for this one, this is going to be recommended more for stickers and decals and such. So we have something done on drinkware here. And another drinkware item. So this one you couldn't sublimate. It is not polyester, so it's a cheaper, maybe a cheaper product that you're able to purchase, and then you can still fully customize with the Subla decal. We also did that here with this cute little bag. So a very, very nice option if you don't have maybe a polyester substrate or if you're looking for something else to go on to. All right, and thanks, George. So here is the information for the Caesar Easy Subli. So this is the heat transfer vinyl, so it's for the smaller size. So it'll be 50 a pack. It is also recommended to get the masking too. along with this vinyl. So unless you're using another masking, it is going to be recommended to use the Easy Sublim mask. And what that is that's, excuse me, if you have a more intricate weed, you would put the masking over top of that, pull it up, and then transfer onto the garment. And then the Subla decal, we'll pop over to that real quick. Thank you. Catching you off guard. That one's tons of different options there. So you can get it in sheets and you can get it in rolls. So great option. This one's going to be white. So we don't have an option for clear. It will be white. So I just want to make that note. And then this is the sublimation paper for JP Plus for mugs. So I did want to make a note that you maybe have noticed it wasn't included on the actual larger sizes of the paper. This is a separate page that you would have to look at for the mug paper. Awesome. I'm going to grab a drink. Thank you, George. What other questions we got?
I was going to say, I'll let you grab a drink while I ask this next question that we got in. And it was somebody who was watching on the webinar wanted to know where that comparison guide was.
Yep.
Again, if you go to any of our paper pages, any of the papers that Carly showed you here, the Easy Subla, the Subla decal,
Yep,
if you go to
sublimation
the
papers.
download section,
Yep.
You'll see that sublimation paper comparison chart. And that's where you'll find compares the papers and shows what printers
Yep, compatible
with.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks, George. We'll
You're
switch
welcome.
back over to the PowerPoint and then I think we're almost ready for the demo. So
Second here, we're going back to the PowerPoint.
yep, we'll have a question from Grace and then otherwise I'm going to start on the demo.
Carly, do we offer samples of the papers that you're showing today?
Ooh, really good question. So I think we'll be offering a sample pack that's available on the website. I think it's under Sublimation Paper Sample Pack, if I remember correctly. That is available, or we do have consumable representatives. If you have a consumable representative today, you're more than welcome to reach out to them and they'll be happy to facilitate that for you. It's a really great question. Thank you. All right, ready for a demo?
I think we are.
Good, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna do a mug today. I haven't done a mug in a while. So I wanted to show you no additional cutting needed for the mug paper. So I think that makes it super easy for production purposes. So we'll go ahead and switch over here. And I just have our 11-ounce economy mug that I'm gonna be using today. And the JP Plus mug paper, this is the smaller one, the 3.125, I believe is what this one is. And I'm going to go ahead and attach. And I like to use the brown thermal heat tape. This is, again, also on our website. This one I feel like is just a tad bit thinner. So it's a little easier for me to use there. And you're going to want to make sure you're using heat tape, not regular tape, because that would just burn right to the mug. So we're also using our JP 450 as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in here and press it down. And I'm going to go ahead and press the start button. So what you see here is the temperature was currently at 205 degrees for the idle time. And then once I push the start button, it's going to pop up to that 390 degrees for the actual press of the mug. And that's only going to be for 15 seconds when it's going to sit at that higher temperature. So then it's going to be done. So we'll talk a little bit more about some of the papers over here, but I think that's a good view. Awesome. Good. So I'm going to show some of the products while that is pressing. So that was not a constant temp, that's a variable mug press. So like I had said, it has an idle time and then it'll pop up to that regular temperature of the 390 and then it'll press that for that 15 seconds and it'll beep. So there are other options for constant temp mug presses too. And again, you can also use a convection oven as well in order to do cylindrical objects. Lots of different options there. So some of the products I want to talk about today is what I have on the table. So this is going to be our skinny can koozie. So slim 12-ounce insulator is what this one is. And this one has been fully sublimated. Super awesome for summertime for skinny cans.
And that is brand new. If you're looking for
Yeah.
that on the website, you want to look for 12-ounce can insulator.
Yep.
Slim, I think is what it's called.
Slim.
Can
Yep.
insulator.
You
Yep.
got it. Awesome. And we do have the regular size as well. So definitely a great option. Again, this is a sublimatable product. This here is going to be, this is our, give me a second. It's a
That
new
is our-
one. It
that's
just came
that's our
out.
20-ounce
Skinny?
simply skinny.
Okay.
can. I know we've just,
Yeah.
all of these are just new on our website. So
Yep. So this is a
brand new.
simply option. So this one we use the Subla decal to decorate. Otherwise you would use laser engraving.
Yep.
So definitely a great option there. We do also have some 20-ounce skinny sublimatable tumblers as well. Those are not on the counter here, but those are available. We have multiple different colors and the shimmer ones too. So yeah. This one here is another sublimatable drinkware. So nice closed tab there. This one I would recommend using a shrink sleeve and the convection oven process in order to get that full bleed of sublimation on there. If you did just a mug press, you would only be able to get this portion here. So definitely a good point to make there.
So somebody asked the size on that tumbler that you were just holding, not that one there. That is one of our 20-ounce, I believe.
20 ounce.
And we do have that in a 30-ounce as well.
Yes.
So sublimatable tumblers, again, those are also brand new, are simply tumblers. So
Yep. Very good point. And these are super cute and one of my favorites. So these are our earrings. So these are our hardboard earrings. These are in a teardrop shape. We do have a couple other shapes available on the web too, but such a neat option and super easy to sublimate these. You can actually sublimate both sides. We just did the one side here today, but super great option. And it does come with this ring and this earring loop is what I'm gonna call it. So that does come along with that, and that's super, super neat.
and we just had a great suggestion from
Yeah.
someone watching who loved the earrings, already has them.
Yeah,
They use the mug paper with the earrings,
Yeah.
which is a great idea when you're only doing a couple pair.
absolutely. Saves cutting and then saves you from using that large 8.5 by 11 size. So again, another option of using that mug paper in addition to just mugs is the teardrop earrings. Any of the earrings, the car coasters worked great. I typically do 2 car coasters at a time, and that works perfectly on that small mug paper. So this here is the clear drinkware here. So this is, again, not sublimatable, but you are able to UV print and then decorate as well. So great option, and with vinyl. All right, now that our mug's done, we'll go ahead and pop this open here. And by using a heat glove, we know everything comes out pretty toasty from sublimation because you're at a pretty high temp. All right, so that was easy, super quick, super easy process. Not too difficult, looks great. All right, any other questions or anything else that I can tackle? We'll head back to the PowerPoint there. Unless you want something else on the web I can talk about.
No, I was just going to thank Maria. Maria just left a
Yeah.
comment. She loves the shimmer tumblers.
Oh, I know.
And she also loves the sublimation trend box, which we'll give a
Ooh.
plug to because that's a really nice, for $40 a month.
$40 a month, that includes your shipping cost. You get some samples of some sublimation products. And a lot of those sublimation products are something that we here have recommended that we've noticed that have been great, super popular sellers. We want to give you a nice little sample of some products to try. And that's a great option to do that is the trend box. Go ahead, Grace.
We also have a few people asking about the shelf life of the papers that you're showing today.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we always recommend a climate controlled environment. Otherwise, I do not believe these typically have a shelf life to them. I can double check, some may, and I can check that with the SDS sheets that would be in there. So those are also under our downloads. So in case some of them may be different, like the vinyl would be compared to the regular sublimation papers, you can definitely check that out. Got anything? Nope, good. All right. So now that we've talked a ton about sublimation papers, if you decide you're interested in purchasing sublimation equipment or maybe upgrading into a white toner printer or a heat press, something like that, we do offer what's called Johnson Plastics Plus Bucks. So you'll actually get money back for purchasing equipment, and it comes as a coupon code after your equipment ships, and you're able to use that on the website. So free money, and I like to use it to test out some consumable products. And then you can also use it on papers too. So like I had talked about today. And when you purchase equipment with Johnson Plastics Plus, you'll have an equipment representative. So either myself or Steve, and then you'll also have a consumable representative paired with you as well. So they'll help you with any consumable questions. Maybe you're working on a specific product and trying to find and resource something. They'd be happy to help you with that. So you get a great team that you get to work with here, and we're happy to help. All right, I think that's it. So go ahead, George.
Don't forget, we've got a giveaway.
Oh, I forgot. I'm so excited
You're
about it.
getting ready to just run end the whole
I
thing. We
know.
got stuff to give away.
Everyone stayed just for that. All right, so we do have a great giveaway, and we're actually going to give away 100 sheets of the Johnson Plastics Plus paper.
Yep. We're going to give 2 of them away.
Oh, 2 of them away.
Yeah, Grace just made an executive decision over
Okay.
here.
Awesome.
This is one where she's asking for forgiveness, not permission. So our 2 winners, our first winner is Renee Barnett.
Okay,
So
awesome.
thank you, Renee,
Congratulations, and
and-
thanks for
and-
asking questions.
Yes, and we will reach out
Yeah.
to the winners here via email.
Yep.
And then our second winner is wait.
So this is what you will win, by the way.
No, so here's the problem. I just had a new contact exam, and I'm like, she's holding the piece of paper, and I'm focusing in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's old man eyes. That's all it is. Sandra Snowton. Sandra Snowton, congratulations.
Yeah.
You will also win a pack of paper. So Renee and
Awesome.
Sandra will make sure we get you the paper.
Yep, congratulations, you guys. And we will reach out via email to you. You'll be receiving 8.5 by 11 size, 100 sheets of the Johnson Plastics Plus paper. So if you have any questions, need any help, anything like that, feel free to reach out to myself, Steve, consumable representative, or our advanced support team. Happy to help with anything you guys need. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.